Hey there, this morning, and instead of just thinking about them all day, I thought I would just answer them in a live stream. If I happen to get additional subscriber questions while this is live, I will do my best to answer those as well. So the first one comes from us. I think it was probably based on my recent Dave Ramsey videos, and the question was basically, what do you think about paying off your mortgages early? So it was unclear based on the question if this individual was talking about their primary residence or their investment properties. So I'll do my best to answer both questions. First and foremost, I believe in being debt free, paying those things off, credit cards, student loans, things of that nature is the right thing to do for most people. I've given full credit to Dave Ramsey for his message of live below your means, pay cash for things. I think a lot of Americans need to hear that. We do seem to be addicted to debt. I've also been very clear. I think he's gone a step too far when he talks about paying off mortgages. I think he is frankly keeping most Americans poor because he's not allowing for 30-year fixed rate debt sub 4% in an inflationary environment where somebody else is paying for the asset and all of those things. So I think a lot of what he does helps. Also, I think his consistent drumbeat of don't buy investment properties unless you pay cash is hurting you. And I think it's equally hurting to pay off your mortgage early. If you are in the acquisition phase, or what I call stage one or stage two, your job is to build the biggest foundation of conservative, financed, positive cash flow rental properties. That way, as the tide rises, more and more of your ships rise. When you get to phase three or stage three, and you are now financially free, by all means, look at your portfolio, consolidate debt, move the chips around, and do what is comfortable. If anybody wants to see what not believing in Dave Ramsey does for investment properties, simply buy this book. Our stage one takes us from 0 to 7 properties, 8 doors. Those ships rose. We then 1031'd into apartment buildings. Those, cash flowed, market crashed. We bought a bunch of discounted, properties. It took us 15 years to retire financially free. The best thing I could say is if we did Dave Ramsey's method, we would probably be sitting here today with 4, maybe 5 houses, and I'd still be working. So in my living proof, Dave Ramsey would have, my balance sheet would be clean, but I'd still be working for the man. And I would call that a failure. So not a big believer. Frankly, Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, all those folks are preying on the indebtedness in the consumer behaviors. I call those needs versus wants. And you got to sacrifice. You got to stop spending money on dumb stuff, right? As Gary Vee says, stop being fancy. That's the problem for most folks. So I do not believe in paying off your mortgages early. I believe it takes cash from next investments and really reduces your growth. Next up, I got an interesting question, basically from someone who is looking at getting married, but also starting their investment career. And the question basically boiled down to, hey, we've been talking about getting married for a long time, but now we're talking about real estate investing, and we're thinking about not getting married and just being together. So first off, never claimed to be a marriage advisor or anything, but really what this boils down to, in my opinion, is they need to talk to their lender. Because I think what they're asking is, hey, if we stay separate, can we get more loans? And in theory, you each could get 10 loans, right? Because you're individuals. There's no marriage, so you could get he could get 10 and she could get 10. Actually, I don't know. It could be he and he or she and she. No, I'm just guessing, right? No idea. But here's the deal: in today's lending environment, I have had people who are married get individual loans. So it is possible, as a wife or a husband, you could get 10 loans, and so could she. But again, you need to speak with your lender. You need to have that conversation with your lender, because the lending environment has changed, right? Their requirements, what they do, what they don't do, changes all the time. So in the end, um, as far as real estate goes, talk to your lender. I've seen it done both ways. But just as a side note, really, um, real estate investing is such a small part of life's experience. Um, there is something to be said for being married, being going through the ceremony and being together and all those other things. I would think, I would think, I don't know. Being married is a big deal, right? At least, you know, I think so. So it's it's something you should really think about. I don't know that I would make that decision, right? Not to get married simply so I could go get 10 loans each. I get it. I understand. It takes most people a long time to get 10 loans, so you could potentially be delaying your marriage by 8 to 12 years. So I don't know. I thought that was an interesting question. So in the end, I think what they're asking is, hey, yeah, you can stay separate, get 10 loans each. But again, I think if you talk to a lender and say, hey, what if, could we as married husband and wife get 10 loans individually? In today's environment, with what I have read and experienced, I believe you could get individual loans. So that's what I got for subscriber questions. More about Dave Ramsey and a question about getting married. So always fun. Have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you later. Bye.